So I'm inside my CS project office and I need to go to my templates. I want to create a template. So let me jump into my templates area. And I'm going to create this template from an out-of-box project standard template. So I'll go new template site, call it the EV template, select project standard, and then click create. Now that takes about a minute or so. So just to speed it up, here is the EV template. All right, now again, all of this is very much out of the box. First thing we want to do is be able to capture the plan value. Okay, so in your project statement, there's a column called plan cost that I'm going to reuse. So I'm going to go into my project statement list settings and expose that column. So project statement settings and column visibility settings, and I'm looking for planned cost. And I'm just going to turn that guy on. Okay. Now, secondly, I'm just going to recapture it. I'm going to call it, just to keep it in context of planned or earned value, I'm going to call it planned value and give it the initials PV for short. Okay. Now, the next step is, well, how am I going to capture my actual costs? Well, I'm going to use my task list to capture that. And once again, inside your task list, there is an actual cost column that we can just simply turn on. It's usually disabled by default because most people don't want to capture actual cost, but I can just go in, enable that column, and I now have a way to do actual costs. Now I'm also going to modify the view so that as you manage your tasks, you might want to put your actual cost in using the very quick edit datasheet. Okay, what's next? Well, I got my planned value captured in my statement. I got my actual cost exposed in my tasks. Next thing is I need a metric. I want to be able to do a sum of the actual cost across all the all the tasks. I don't need it for my statement. There's only one planned value, but for the actual cost, I'll need more. So I'm actually going to go into my metrics. And if you look for actual cost, you don't see it under the active items view, but it's not enabled. So I'm going to go to the all items, find my actual cost metric, which is that guy there, and enable it. And he is already configured, so click activate metric, to run a report that will do a sum of the actual costs across the project. I'll save that. Now we need to pull them all together. So the idea here is that when you do status reporting, every time you log a status report, it's going to capture the planned value from the statement. It's going to capture the actual cost from the metrics. You'll then be able to calculate an earned value by multiplying one by the other. And then we'll have one of the calculation, which is the cost variance, which is the difference between the earned value and the actual cost. Okay, so we're now going into our status reporting, and we're going to configure column mappings, and we're going to pull in those extra columns. So from the project statement, what column do I want? I want my PV. And I'll just create a column here called PV. Next, what do I want to get from my metrics? I want to get my actual cost. I'm going to tell it to bring in the actual the metric value itself, which is the dollar value, and create a column called AC, or actual cost. So I'm done there with the mappings of pulling the data, and I'm going to create two more columns. One is the actual earned value itself, which is calculated from the planned value multiplied by the percent complete. That is returned as a currency, and we don't need any zero decimals. We'll just bring in like that. The second column we're going to bring in is our cost variance, which again is calculated, which is the difference between the earned value minus the actual cost. And once again, we're going to bring as a currency 0 place decimals. And I'm going to have to double check that because somebody might tell me it's actually the other way around. The cost variance is actual cost minus earned value, which means if it's positive it's good or if it's negative it's bad. Bear with me. If I'm making a mistake here, we can just change it around. So we'll just go with the cost variance there. Okay, almost there. And I'm just going to clean up my view here because what I'd like to see is, not that it's not important, but I want to bring in my earned value, actual cost, percent complete in the view so I can see it very quickly. Okay, so currently we're at 0. Now finally, I want to get a chart. I want to build a chart to be able to report on all those indices and map them over time. So I'm going to my status charts and I'm going to edit the page and add a status chart here. So if I edit the page and I'll just put it on maybe at the bottom here. Let me try one more time. Edit page. Hide the footer. And this is going to be a list chart view, which is converting the data from our sales report list into a chart. Okay, now let's configure this. And what list? We want the project status reports. Do you want to have filtering? No, we want all items. What do you want to call this? We'll call this our earned value report. Now, we want to chart it as lines because we're going to be looking at these figures over time. So on the x-axis will be for period ending. Now, this is where the PM logs, preferably a weekly status update, and it'll automatically bring in the values and chart them. Okay. Now what do I want to look at? Well, I want to look at my earned value to some of that, my actual cost, some of that, and I'm also going to bring in my planned value, which was brought in for the statement, and finally I'm going to put in my cost variance. Okay, I'm going to make that look nice in a dynamic report. I'll make it 1650 pixels wide, 450 pixels high, and I will click OK. So that is hopefully going to be the chart. No items found yet. All right. Now, I'm going to test this in my template. Now, remember, you would create a project, but I just want to maybe put some very basic stuff in here. So I'm going to put in a planned value of $100,000. Okay. And I'm going to add some very basic tasks. And no marks for imagination here. Task C, task D, and task E. Okay. Obviously, these will be scheduled, so I'm going to have different durations and so forth. And this one is starting today. And we'll have a relationship between the activities. Okay, and now do a refresh of my project data. So I'm now ready to start the project. And there is my project plan. Boom. Okay, so the project started and I would want to do my first status report, and it already has one in there. I wonder if I might just bump that back a week. So for period end 21st, I'll say, let's make it the 14th. Okay, everything is 0, so we have nothing to do. Okay, I'm now going to complete a task and say that task cost me $25,000. Okay. Now I will be doing a refresh of the project data. Why? Because it does calculate the schedule and it does calculate your metrics. It runs automatically anyway on a timer. You're not going to be logging today's reports one after another, hopefully. So I just need that to have it calculated, and then I'll log a status update for this week. So task is done, go status reporting, log a new item. It's for the week ending. I'm not going to put in any notes or comments, but it is actually bringing in the planned value and the actual cost. So I'm going to save it. And it's bringing my percent complete as 21% to a ridiculous level of accuracy, but it is calculate the earned value of 21,951. The actual cost 25,000 because it is multiplying the 25,000 by the percent complete.